We've already covered some outfield prospects that could intrigue the Cleveland Indians, and now we head to the infield to look at some shortstop prospects. Shortstop is not exactly a position where the Indians are lacking talent, that's for sure. With Francisco Lindor doing what he's doing right now, plus prospects Willie Castro, Yu Chang, Tyler Freeman, and Aaron Bracho all in the organization's top 15 prospects, it's an organizational strength right now. However, shortstops are always in demand during the draft. The big thing with shortstops is their versatility. If a player is a shortstop in college, they can play anywhere in the big leagues. They could move to third base if they have an especially strong arm, or second base if they have a weak arm. They could move to the outfield, even. But if they can stay at the position, that's where the organizational value is highest. The shortstop is one of the most important positions on the field. They are generally a team's best defender and are in charge of directing traffic during a play. The value on players that can play the position well is extremely high. The last time the Cleveland Indians picked a shortstop with their first selection in the draft was 2011 when they selected Francisco Lindor. That pick has turned out alright so far. Perhaps it's time for the Tribe to once again select a shortstop as the crown jewel of their draft class. Not everyone can play shortstop, but shortstops can be played anywhere. So they're an in-demand commodity. Here are a few shortstops that have first-round buzz that the Indians might be able to snatch up. Page 2. This California prep shortstop has 4 above-average tools. The only one he's missing is power, which is normal for most shortstops. Lindor is just an exception to the rule. But Turang has everything else you could want. He's got great hitting ability, great speed, a strong arm, and a good glove. MLB Pipeline ranks Turang as the 22nd overall prospect in this class. Given the margin of error on how teams rank prospects and the experts at MLB Pipeline do, this puts Turang squarely in the mix for the Indians at 29. As a highly touted high school shortstop with a commitment to LSU, he could be tough to sign. More from Indians draft analysis. Inability is a major concern for most high school prospects, but teams have ways of figuring out how likely prospects are to sign with them and try to get a feeling for whether or not they want to go to school and how much money it would take to convince them not to. If the Indians feel they can sign him, but some other teams don't, he could fall into their laps. Most high school players taken in the first round will sign. Turang is a left-handed hitter and there are some who believe he can stay at shortstop long-term. He has the arm strength and the speed, but other scouts believe he's destined for a different position. That different position is most likely second base, given his general lack of power doesn't fit the profile of a corner infielder. Another position for him could be center field in the long runs because he does have great speed and a good arm. But that all depends on who picks him and how he does at shortstop. If he comes to the Indians, and Francisco Lindor is around for a while, a new position may be necessary for Turang. There's another shortstop that could interest the Indians, this time from the college ranks. Page 3. Ironman is practically the opposite hitter of what Turang is. Ironman has lots of power, and he's struggled to show it off lately. His hit tool leaves something to be desired, but he's not awful at the plate. After hitting 23 home runs in 2017, Ironman hasn't been able to reproduce those kinds of results in 2018 with only 9 home runs this year. MLB Pipeline argues that it's because he changed his stance and approach at the plate this in order to hit more home runs instead of focusing on a balanced approach. Still, he's hitting .302 with a .939 ops, which is not too shabby at all. Bringing him into the organization will require the minor league hitting coaches to change his approach back to what he was doing in 2017. It seems like an easy fix, but there's no guarantee that it will be. Scouts also love Ironman's makeup and character. So, if a team wants to change his approach at the plate, he's going to do everything he can to make it happen. He's got baseball bloodlines, too, as his father and brother were drafted by the Red Sox and the Rays, respectively. Ironman is a tremendous defender with a rocket arm and soft hands. Many scouts see Ironman's long-term fit at third base. With his strong defense and throwing arm with lots of power, he fits the profile of a third baseman. This is where the versatility of shortstops comes into play. Many prospects that play shortstop on their college team are there simply because they're the best defensive player on the team. The long-term fit in the pros is generally someplace different. As the 23rd ranked prospect, he could be in play for the Indians with the 29th overall pick. He just needs to slip a little bit, and his struggles at the plate this could turn some teams off of him as a first-round pick. There's also a switch-hitting prep standout that's been turning heads in scouting circles. Page 4. Xavier Edwards is not a big man, but he's got big potential to go in the first round. Coming in at a slender 510 and 155 pounds, Edwards is not going to hit many home runs. He's your prototypical table setter at the top of the lineup. He doesn't strike out much, makes good contact, and is a speed demon. MLB Pipeline has Edwards as the 38th ranked prospect coming into the MLB Draft. The Cleveland Indians have 3 picks around there, with selections at number 29, number 35, and number 41 overall. There's a good chance they'll have the opportunity to select Edwards. As always with high school players, signability is the main issue in drafting them. Edwards is committed to Vanderbilt, one of the top programs in the country, and one of the toughest to get players to decommit from. A strong defender, Edwards has the ability to stick at shortstop in his pro career, but he will probably have to add some strength in order to make it through a 162-game schedule. Edwards is a switch hitter, which only adds to his value. A player that can get on base the way Edwards can with tremendous defense and ludicrous speed is someone that most scouts would salivate over. If the Indians feel they can sign him, he would be a wonderful addition to the organization. This is just my guess, but with his speed and arm strength, center field might be a good long-term fit for Edwards. If he can't stay at shortstop, or ends up being blocked by Francisco Lindor if the Cleveland Indians elect to draft him. Vanderbilt doesn't recruit just any shortstops, and if he's got the chance to be the shortstop at Vanderbilt, he's someone major league teams will want to sign. Shortstop is a position that teams draft for depth all the time. The Indians don't need to go shortstop with their first pick, but you'd have a tough time arguing the decision if they end up going with one of these shortstops.